Why is there a tree in the middle of the road?
FromVille has a lot of secrets. Everything that you come across in this town has some story behind it that is yet to be revealed. And the fallen tree is no different. At first glance, it seems like an obstacle that prevents people from going wherever they were headed. But the moment they turn around, things go awry, and they get trapped in the nightmarish town of FromVille. So now the question is, what exactly is the fallen tree? Is it just an obstacle, or could it be something more? If you're curious, then join us as we unravel this mystery together. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Could it be a part of the Fae realm? Since the first season of the show aired, a lot of fans have been pointing out the subtle nods to the Fae folklore that you will notice sprinkled all throughout the From universe. The most obvious of them is the town's monster behaving like the Sluwas, which we have discussed in another video of ours that you should totally check out, by the way. Anyway, the way there are no explanation behind the running water or the easily accessible electricity has also made the fans wonder if the FromVille exists in a pocket dimension controlled by the Faes. While these are the more obvious clues of the FromVille being a part of the Fae realm, I think the forest and the trees, especially the faraway trees and the fallen tree, can be considered a big hint as well. For those who don't know, in Irish folklore, it is said that fairies used particular types of trees, known as the fairies trees, to travel between their world and ours. These trees were spread out all over the country, and they were said to bring bad luck to anyone who dared to try to cut them down. These fairy trees sound a lot like faraway trees, don't they? Magical trees that connect two places no matter how far they are. I mean, think about it. If the faraway trees all around the town are governed by the Fae, it makes total sense why you may never know where you will end up once you step into the faraway tree. It also makes sense why Martin said that stepping into the tree is how they get you. Because the moment you step inside a faraway tree, you are at the mercy of the Fae. Now, coming to the fallen tree is something that every resident of the town sees before they end up trapped in this nightmarish place. They were out on the road, driving somewhere, and then bam, the fallen tree in the road. The tree is so big that they cannot push it aside, so they have to go around it. Each time the fallen tree is different too. If you don't believe me, check out the tree that the Matthews encountered in their RV and the fallen tree Tabitha encountered when she was in the ambulance. They are not the same. Fans have theorized that the fallen tree is actually a portal that traps the people in the town the moment they encounter it. And, I think that is true. If we were to assume that the fallen tree is one of the fairy trees, just like the faraway trees, then it would make complete sense that the moment you look at the tree, you are screwed. There's no way you can see the tree and save yourself. Also, this ties up with the folklore rather well, don't you think? The folklore says that if you cut down the fairy tree, as in the fallen fairy tree, it would bring you bad luck. And even though our characters have not cut down the fairy tree, they're experiencing the bad luck associated with it by getting trapped in a town with creatures who hunt them every night for fun. But that's not the only way the fallen tree phenomena can be explained. Could it be that the FromVille is actually being controlled by a tree entity? Now, I know that you might think that this is a bit far-fetched, but it just makes so much sense when you look at all the dots that I have connected. So, one of the main things that the showrunners have always stated in their many interviews is that the answer is right there in front of us. We just have to look out the window and get the whole view. Now, what if this was a pretty on-the-nose clue? What if the mysterious entity that we have been wondering about is actually none other than the woods itself? That's the first thing that people see when they enter the town. The fallen tree is just a part of it, and so are all the creatures. Faraway trees, talismans, dungeons, tunnels, etc., etc., and maybe the ominous woods have more to them than we are thinking. Let's look at the cave painting from the second season. Now, I know that when we see this red monster thing, we might think it is a depiction of Cthulhu, but what if it were far simpler than that? What if it's a tree? When the When the children were sacrificed, they poured all their hopes into the roots they could see from their sacrificial beds. The boy in white said that hope gave rise to the tree, so maybe the faraway trees and the fallen tree are something that the kids created by giving power to the trees. They wanted to be saved, but no one could save them. One of their loved ones told them the stories that one day they'd be saved, and maybe to ensure that they are saved, they created a tree entity whose main task is to select the people who were original townsfolk that got out of the town and bring them back after they were reborn. That is why we get cycles in the town. And that would also explain why Victor keeps measuring the trees. One of the trees getting closer is a sign that time is running out. If they don't manage to save the kids by then, there would be an all-out massacre, which would wipe the slate clean and start the cycle once again. Marvelous verdict. So, what do you guys think? Do you think the fallen tree is the sign that FromVille is a part of the Fae realm? Or do you guys believe it was something the children created out of their desperation to be saved, hoping the people who promised to save them would one day come back? I mean, I gotta say, I personally think that the children's theory makes a lot more sense with how the show has been going. However, if the Fae realm comes into the picture, I would not be surprised as well. The showrunners have clearly put a lot of thought and care into the show, and there are so many intricate and interesting mysteries to keep us all on our toes. Let us know in the comments what your theory is, and I will see you guys in the next marvelous video. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone!